When I first got into spirituality, it was pure curiosity and fascination with the unknown and what was possible in the unknown, and the excitement that came with that. Somewhere along the line, that curiosity turned into this quest, this drive for perfection, or this quest for something that I don't even know how to name what quest I'm on now. May I speak freely? I want to tell you about my journey, how I came into the spirituality world. I was diving down the hollow earth theory. I know you guys might be aware of this, but I first stumbled across the hollow earth theory. Well, first it was The Secret. And it was The Secret like everyone else in 2000, I don't even know, 7, 8 when The Secret first came out. But that didn't hook me. What hooked me, silly as it may be, was the hollow earth theory, and I wanted to know how to get there. I was reading Admiral Byrd's diary. I was reading all the Mount Shasta secret entrances and the lizard people and the kidnappings, and I was like, I want to find hollow earth. And I learned that you could do that through astral projecting. You could astral project to hollow earth, and I was like, okay, how do you astral project? And so you could imagine what rabbit holes that led down. And then I thought, wow, this is a really hard one to attain. And then I learned that you could astral project through lucid dreaming. That's a little easier. Lucid dreaming is a little easier to attain, so I tried to lucid dream. And I mastered that. So you can imagine the rabbit holes one goes down to master lucid dreaming. And that is how I stumbled across this spiritual realm of self-help, at least in terms of self-help, the spiritual aspects. So the spiritual self-help. I feel like a lot of times they're intertwined, but it's like how to make yourself a better person, and how to raise your frequency, and how to ascend to 3D, and how to, manifest this, twice as fast with this meditation. And it was just like I said, what began as just the purest intention of, wow, the world is potentially infinitely bigger than I could ever have imagined, and the quest to discover such things in the world was a beautiful one. And then, like I said, somehow it ended up on a quest that I don't even know how to define, that's just like never ending. Like, do you guys ever feel that? Do you feel like what started off as just curiosity for the unknown world and the potential for magic turned into this, you're like on a rat wheel, like the Hermetics say, you're just a rat on a wheel running your entire life, but when you give up, or when you die, whichever one comes first, you find you're in the same exact place that you started. Do you ever feel that pressure? I know I have. The irony is that these self-help books and the spiritual teachings, it all tries to return the individual to the state of childlike wonder. Right? That's the goal. But last time I checked, children weren't reading self-help books. Children weren't reading the Kybalion to expand their consciousness. They were just experiencing, they were living through direct experience. They were caught up with the world because everything in the world had something to offer. Everything in the world had a piece of the infinite to offer. Smells, sounds, sights, feelings, like everything, emotions. Now, what I'm tempted to say is, the moment I stopped trying to be better and more spiritual is the moment I became more spiritual. And that would just be another goddamn trap. So I'm not going to do that to you guys. All I'm going to say is what I found lately, and this might be different for me because now that I have a child and he's 5 and we're starting to do cool things together, I'm getting back to things that bring me peace and joy, not because, or getting back to things that bring me peace and joy, not because of a text that I read, but because of what makes the most sense. Let me give you an example. I've been cooking all my dinners outside over an open fire. I dug a hole in the ground and I make burgers, I make sausages, chicken skewers, veggies, tacos, like whatever. And I'm just, every night I'm looking at the stars and I'm sitting next to, it's like I'm camping every single night, or at least when I do cook. And that's not because I wanted to be more spiritual. That was because I missed being outside. That's because my child loves to make fires with me and loves to hang out and loves to throw things in the fire and watch them burn. Like the simple what I'm reeling is, wow, I needed this. My soul needed this. Like these were the type of things I was doing before my quest. I was just in nature for the sake of being in nature. I was reading my favorite texts and occult teachings because of the awe and inspiration that it gave me of what the potential of existence could be. And I may I speak freely again? don't judge me, you guys. I know you guys, some of you have been following this channel forever, and I've changed your lives forever, at least inadvertently. That's not my main goal. So may I speak freely? My main goal with the occult and spirituality and the audiobooks that I make isn't to get you to escape the third dimension. It isn't to, transcend your soul. It's none of those things. I share them the same way someone would share the Lord of the Rings trilogy, for the same reason you would share the Harry Potter series with a good friend, the same way you would share a video game that you learned with your friends, because you love something and you like how it made you feel, and you liked the inspiration, you like the emotions that it evoked from you. You just loved to exist in that world because you loved the feeling of it. And that's why I do what I do, because it's when I read the Kabbalion, or when I read, Emerald Tablets, or when I read the Colburn Bible, or when I read Rudolf Steiner, or when I read any of these sort of, Napoleon Hill, The Interview with the Devil, the audiobook that we made, I'm like, wow, could you imagine? Could you imagine? And that's it. And then a million people will imagine a million different things, and all of a sudden you have a quadrillion different imaginations rummaging through the atmosphere at any given time, and it's just beautiful. And you think of the potential of existence. Well, look, squad, if you get anything out of this video or any of my videos, it's not that you have to do some wild things to attain some lofty, wild version of enlightenment. It's just so that we can be really grounded in a sense of awe, wonder, creativity, all these things, like right here, right now. You can, like when I was a child, I would watch a movie, I would watch Homeward Bound, and I would walk into the forest, and right then and there, my imagination was, oh, maybe shadows right here around these woods. Oh, there's mountain lions maybe. Oh, Bigfoot. I want you guys to know that you don't have to study or practice spirituality as a means to escape this reality, but to connect with this reality, to feel the magic now, not in the fourth dimension or the fifth, or when the Arcturians come, and to know that it is possible, it is okay to love spirituality, not to chase some never-ending goal of enlightenment, but to love spirituality and love the wonders of the world simply because you love spirituality and the wonders of the world. I don't necessarily know the ramifications of this, when you have conversations with people, or if you're on your own podcast, and like I said, everyone seems to practice spirituality because they want something from it. And there's nothing wrong with wanting. That's what life expands. Life becomes more complex. Single-celled organisms expand into multi-celled organisms. Multi-celled organisms expand into self-governing and extremely conscious organisms who evolve into AI. Like, life expands. There's nothing wrong necessarily with wanting and expanding, but there's also nothing wrong with loving something for the sake of loving it, and employing some of that ease and grace back into our everyday lives, and not the life after this one. Now, if you guys want, you don't have to, but just take a moment and think about your favorite part of spirituality or esoterics or whatever. Think about what excites you the most, and without, trying to make yourself a walking god with it. Like, what makes you most happy? What brought you into this? What was the gateway? What was the gateway knowledge that brought you into this? And can you remember what that felt like? Like, I remember first learning about astral projection and lucid dreaming and the hollow earth theory and Agartha, and I was just like, what? I loved it the way I loved the Lord of the Rings, or I loved it the way I loved Harry Potter, or I loved it the way I loved, my favorite fantasy novel, because of what that implied to reality. And the implication was, wow, the world is so much bigger than I could have ever imagined. Now, notice none of the revelation had anything to do with, wow, I can be a god, That could happen inadvertently, and it will happen of its own accord naturally, but that wasn't the first thing that brought me in by any means. So leave a comment and let me know what gets you most stoked. Like what do you love about this? Anywho, thank you guys for being here. If you have the means and the motivation, and you'd like to support, you can leave a comment, you can share this video, you can like the video, How many views do we have on the? How many likes do we have on these videos? If I can get 30 likes on this video, I'll make another one. Honestly, I'll probably make one anyways. I don't know what else to do with myself, but thank you guys. I'll see you in the next video. Okay, bye.